storylines now. One of the bigger ones is actually in Washington itself because Terry McLaurin is at Commanders training camp, but he is without a new contract. Now, you can debate Terry McLaurin ranks among wide receivers. He's certainly in the top 10. Where at, I don't know because I did not do a list, but he's certainly on the list, I believe, of top 10 receivers in the NFL. And the Commanders are paying Jaden Daniels on a rookie contract. They have no excuse to get this done. I'm kind of shocked that with the new regime and the way they were handing out money, they have not got this deal done yet. Yes, they did go and get Deebo Samuel, but he even says it himself. He's a wide back. He's not a wide receiver. He's not a running back. And Zach Ertz was really good for them last year, but he's obviously, on the older side of his career. Outside of Terry McLaurin, at least in my opinion, and maybe it's the Eagles fan in me, there's still not a lot of people on the outside for Washington that legitimately scares me. And again, you're paying Jaden Daniels on a rookie contract. To me, this was a no-brainer to get this done. I don't know why it hasn't been done yet.
I think if Terry McLaurin has the type of season I think he's capable of, he could break into the top 5 in terms of wide receivers. He's capable of that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, obviously, you're not taking out Chase. You're not taking out Jefferson. You're not taking out A.J. Brown, in my opinion. You're not taking out Amon-Ra St. Brown in Detroit. I mean, those to me are your top 4.
Right. So I would probably say he has a chance to break into the top 5 at number 5.
For sure. I mean, I still think Mike Evans is up there.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Tyreek Hill, not so much anymore.
I think he's in the top 10, not top 5.
I want to put Jalen Waddle in there, but
no, I don't even know if Waddle's in the top 10.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. I think
Cooper
he's top
Kupp,
15.
Not so much anymore.
Not so much. You know what? I would take his former teammate now, Puka, over McLaurin.
Okay.
I still think, to be honest with you, Devontae Adams is better than Terry. Now, I think that's close.
Yeah.
I think you can make the argument.
Either way, outside of Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin is the most important player for the Commanders, offense or defense. Again, outside of Jaden, because you saw once Jaden Daniels found that chemistry with Terry McLaurin, it allowed the Commanders to really get going in the way that they did.
Well, it's the first time Terry McLaurin's ever had a real quarterback. And, of course, he puts up the numbers. Now, again, they are not paying really anybody on offense.
Yeah, I agree with you. And they don't have any premier players on defense that they're really paying. So at this point.
No, and the other thing is, too, like, Laremy Tunsil was probably their best signing of the offseason. I love that move for them at left tackle. Outside of getting Deebo, and there are a lot of people that think the Commanders will compete / take the NFC East crown from the Eagles this year, which I'm not denying it's possible. I'm just saying the more you look at the Commanders, the more you're like, this should have been a bigger offseason for them spending-wise. I expected them to go on in this spending spree and get some free agents on defense, add a third receiver or add another running back because you're not paying Jaden Daniels anything. And they really mostly, outside of those 2 moves, again, stayed pat.
Yeah, it was interesting. But the fact that they haven't gotten this deal done yet is honestly, and I hate to use this term, but it's a little bit embarrassing. Like, you're coming off your best season in years. I don't even know the last time they had a season like that. And as you said, they found their franchise quarterback. They got their head coach in Dan Quinn. They got a new regime. Dan Snyder's out of the building, and yet you're not willing to pay your best wide receiver.
Right.
Like, the dots don't connect here, and I don't get it. The fact that he's willing to still report to camp is also interesting to me.
I think that's a good sign for them. Like, I expect this deal to get done by week 1.
If it doesn't, then the Commanders really have issues.
Well, speaking of which, our man Grandizer has a question. He said, McLaurin, what about Micah Parsons? Listen, Micah Parsons is going to get paid. This is Jerry Jones doing it all over again. This is going to be Dak Prescott all over again. I will be absolutely shocked if by the end of week 1, because it may even come the Sunday of week 1, the way that Dak Prescott did last year. If Micah Parsons is not signed by the time the Cowboys take the field for week 1, that Thursday game against my Eagles, then yeah, I'd be shocked.
Yeah, I remember Dak Prescott was paid just a couple hours before kickoff against the Browns in week 1.
And how did that work out for the Cowboys? Dak got hurt, and they had a 7-win season, and spoiler alert, I think it could be even worse for them this year. That's kind of a preview of what our NFL predictions are going to look like in a month.
Yes. But Micah Parsons is one of the top linebackers in the NFL.
Oh, I think he's to answer this other question, he's a top 3 defensive player of the week.
Yes. I would put him with Myles Garrett and TJ Watt.
Yes. And you know what? I'll take that back. I think he's 4 because you know who I'd put over him?
Who?
Hutchinson.
Oh. Okay.
Because I think Hutchinson is going to have a big year, first of all. I know he got hurt last year. But also, if you look at Micah, and also, you know who else I'd take over Micah? So I'd put him at 5. I'd put my guy, Jalen Carter, over him easily.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Go look at Micah Parsons, and again, the Cowboys haven't won playoff games in years, but go look at his playoff production and go look at his production against good teams. It's not that great.
Yeah. When Aaron Donald was in his prime, I would have taken him over Micah Parsons.
Absolutely. Even though you know my thoughts on Aaron Donald, we've had that argument, but he's certainly better than Micah Parsons.
Yes. But I don't get it with Jerry Jones. Like,
the Cowboys are a soap opera, man. Well, why do you think they're doing this Last Dance version of the Dallas Cowboys on Netflix?
Yeah, isn't that documentary called like America's Team or something? Newsflash, Dallas, you're not America's team anymore. You haven't won anything since the 90s. I would say the Green Bay Packers are America's team, or the Pittsburgh Steelers, not you.
Well, from one bad organization to another, thank God this man finally got signed because, again, I'm supposed to be a Browns fan because I live in Cleveland and they are my hometown team, and everybody I know, including you, is a Browns fan. So I'm not supposed to like the Bengals, but it's hard for me not to because of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, even Yogi Bosch. I love that offense, and the Bengals to me are a roster that should be 10, 11, 12 wins every year, and they're not because they had the worst defense in the history of the NFL last year.
Plus, they're allergic to games in September.
That, and apparently they're allergic to spending money because for some reason Shemar Stewart went and worked out at Texas A&M before he got signed because, the Bengals just didn't want to pay him for some reason because they wanted a clause in his contract or something if he got into trouble. I don't know. And now they're still not going to pay Trey Anderson. Now they drafted Stewart to potentially be his replacement, but Anderson's still sitting out there. And it's like, if this was take the roster, take the coach, take everything that's the Bengals, move them to any other team. Flip them even with Jacksonville, who's got money, obviously, because of Shad Khan. And this team would be, on paper, at least a playoff contender, not a Super Bowl contender. Here in Cincinnati, we're saying, how many points is Joe Burrow going to have to score this year? 50, because they can't even get their defensive players on the field.
Yeah, especially because you're going up against Lamar Jackson. I want to include Aaron Rodgers, but he's washed, so no.
Well, you're going up against Josh Allen. You're going up against Patrick Mahomes. You're going up against Justin Herbert. Just take a look at the AFC.
And
not
you're
even in your
going up
division.
against C.J. Stroud if he has a backup or
And
bounce
CJ
back.
Stroud. And I mean, I'm
And Bo
just gonna
Nix.
throw it out there, Bo Nix. Your guy Geno Smith is now in Vegas. Who knows what Jacksonville is going to be? Could Trevor Lawrence return back to number 1 pick form? I mean,
I don't trust Tua, so
no, I agree with you on that. And but speaking of quarterbacks, Josh, we had some news coming out of Browns camp because Kenny Pickett was injured running a sprint down the sideline, no contact, just pulled up lame. He's going to be out a week, which should theoretically open up the door for Shedeur Sanders to get more reps. But, for some reason, the Browns coaching staff does not like Shedeur Sanders, and he's still getting 14 reps.
Yeah, if I had to guess, old man Joe Flacco is going to be the starter for the Cleveland Browns. Because that's just how it works. And Shedeur will probably be on the field, if I had to guess, week 8 at New England or week 10 at the Jets.
I actually think it's probably week 7 at home against the Dolphins. I think you give him a home start because the first part of the schedule is so brutal. But I'm just going to ask you this question now, Josh. I don't know if I've asked you this question or not before, so I'm going to ask it to you. I'm sorry if I repeat myself. I look at the Browns quarterback situation, and I see Joe Flacco as a 40-something-year-old man. I already know what I got out of Joe Flacco. I look at Kenny Pickett. I think, he's got about the same amount of touchdowns in his career that he does interceptions. He's got a low ceiling, and, he's probably a backup in the NFL. I don't think Dylan Gabriel is an NFL quarterback. I'll raise my hand and just say it right now. I don't think he's going to make it in this league. And so, for me, if you think Shedeur Sanders was a first-round talent and you got him in the 5th round, in my opinion, the Browns organization this offseason has done the fan base no favors. They let go of Nick Chubb. There was the Myles Garrett saga with will he be traded, will he not be? There was the old draft situation. Now there's the Quinyon Junkin situation, which who knows what the hell is going to go on there. This fan base, including you, needs something to root for. And so to me, the only way to feel like there's hope and optimism is to throw the kid out there, Shedeur, week 1.
Knowing this organization and who the owners are, it certainly wouldn't surprise me if they do that, because I said this to you and you tend to agree with me. The Shedeur pick had Jimmy Haslam's fingerprints all over it.
Did you hear what Jimmy Haslam said today?
No, I haven't looked at the text that Fitz sent us.
He went out and he basically said that Andrew Berry was the one that made the decision to draft Shedeur Sanders, not him.
That's interesting because when you watch the draft room footage, when the Browns drafted Dylan Gabriel, everybody in the room was excited and high-fiving and all that. And then when they drafted Shedeur, they were all just like this.
Haslam said that when he drove home Friday night and when he got back to the facility Saturday morning, he thought there was no chance in hell they were going to take Shedeur Sanders. And he said that they had a meeting Saturday morning before the draft. They had another meeting right before they made the trade up, and it was Andrew Berry who made that decision. Whether he's lying or not, who knows, but that's what he said.
Okay, well, Andrew Berry, you are now on the hot seat because you traded for number 4, and let Baker Mayfield walk. Or no, I'm sorry, you traded Baker, you let Nick Chubb walk, you traded for number 4, you drafted Dylan Gabriel, and you drafted Shedeur. You are on the hot seat. I think Kevin Stefanski is safe. I like what he's done as our head coach, although I'd like a little more balance in our offense overall. It feels like we've gotten a little too run happy at times, which I get it. That was Stefanski's style in Minnesota, but it feels a little disjointed at times. That's just my perspective, though. But overall, I think Stefanski is safe. But Andrew Barry, if it is true that you're the one who wanted Shador, you are majorly on the hot seat.
Let me pose this question to you then. The Browns go 3-14 again. Is Stefanski still safe?
Oh, boy. I don't think in that scenario, I don't think he would get fired. I think he would be on the hot seat. As of right now, I have them getting at the most 6 wins. At the most.
Oh, I think that's so optimistic.
I'm saying at the most.
That's what I mean. Because I think at the most you're looking at 4.
The schedule is honestly brutal.
Did you see the news today? MJ Emerson was carted off. No weight on his leg. It seriously looks like it could be a season-ending injury.
I don't get it with this team. Watch this. As soon as the Browns get into their new stadium, the Haslams will turn it around and it'll be like, hey, we're actually a good team now. Watch. I bet you that happens.